I'm Annie.
And I'm Mary.
And this is Neutral Zone.
Thank you, girls, for coming to Neutral Zone on a Wednesday evening in my flat.
Thanks for
Thank you for having us. We're going to dive straight in. How much of your identity, girls, would you say is tied to our profession?
For me, I think a huge amount. And I am quite proud of that. Like, I think it's changed a bit since having children, but I still think it's a huge part of me and who I am. And, but I like that. I'm comfortable with how much, I am as a dentist and how it fulfills my life and family life as well.
Yeah, I think it's a lot. I think the thing is you take a lot of it home. So then it does become such a big part of your life because you're thinking about it when you're not there. And it's such a sort of responsibility. But as well as Mary, I still really enjoy it. And I guess now with our little brushies company, it's taking over even more of our lives. I think, as you say, having kids is actually a really good kind of reset. Like going back, I actually wanted to go back to work both times, and it takes a little bit of the stress away because I guess it slightly, having the kids puts things in perspective. So there's a little bit less stress sometimes with the profession. So yeah, quite a lot really.
How do you think becoming mums has changed you as clinicians?
I think for me, it puts perspective on it in a good way. Like I often say, and I'll actually use it to tell my patients as well, like, this isn't life or death. Like, you give them a treatment plan, and some people it's so overwhelming if they have a load of work to do. And I'm just like, but don't worry. Like, I'm like, we'll do it in stages. And I think having children made me be like, I want to say to them, like, you'll get it done. Don't let this be scary, because I know it's a lot to take on, but I think having kids, I'm just like, yeah, we're not heart surgeons. It's just teeth, right? And obviously we need them, but having kids makes you think like, yes, it's very important. It is a healthcare profession, but it made me chill a bit more with things. It's just, there's more to life than teeth. Yes, they're very important. And yes, you want to help get someone to happy stage, healthy stage, but it's not to be daunting. And I think kids put that into perspective. Like, and I don't know about you, but as we get older, people get ill, and you're hearing more and people get sick, and it's scary, and life's scary. So I just think it's made me more chilled about things, and including my job, the way I see it, what I take home, what I worry about,
I guess,
and also putting it on them, like making them not worried about it. We're here to help them, and you can do it together. And yeah, it's made me chill a bit more, I think, in the whole thing.
And we work less, I guess, because it kind of limits, in a way, when they're really young, you're not going to work 5 days a week in clinic. And we were guilty, like we used to work like on Saturdays and all of that. And actually that's so nice. And that makes you much better. I think it makes you a better clinician, actually.
100%.
Because you just put more into it.
Yeah, you've got more energy. Like, I think we've both sort of done 3 clinical days, and I've never loved it more or had more energy than since having children. So because it's 3 days a week, I love it. I love going in there. I love the rapport with who I work with. I feel I've got more energy for the patients because I've taken my mum hat off, and it's good to chat to some adults. And I love that about it. But I think even if I didn't have children, I would worry that I'd put so much pressure on myself to continue this 4-day, 5-day a week, which is like so culturally ingrained in us, right? But not every job is so client facing, and so I think that's hard. Like, I think people need to and even friends that don't have children, they're dentists, I'm like, go down to 4 days a week. Like, it's fine. Like, it gives you more energy. Your pay isn't that different because you can speak to people, you spend more time doing it, and then they go ahead and click these treatment plans, go ahead. So yeah, I found that it's been a positive thing.
Also, it's amazing what you can do on a cup of coffee. I've like done full days in practice, like completely chocolate block on like literally no sleep. And
Running on
not-
adrenaline and
but
coffee.
also, it's amazing. I have one cup of coffee in the morning, and that's me. I'm absolutely fine. So yeah.
Superstars.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
So how do you balance everything? You're both mums of two little ones. How old are your little ones?
Quite similar to mine of 4 and 18 months.
I've basically copied Annie. I've just done it like 6 months later. So we're a little bit longer for the second. I struggled to make myself have a second. I really wanted one, but it's just life gets busy. Again, you get back into your career. It's hard. I found the 1 to 2 quite tough because I then enjoyed being back at work, doing more courses. And then it's like, I think that's hard on females and mums and dads as well, is like, okay, am I going to go off again on maternity leave? And maternity leave scares me both on every child I've had. I don't know about you.
Well, it's like we're self-employed as well. So it's not just financially, I know, but for me, it's a big thing, I think, in dentistry.
I'm worried about leaving a patient,
Yeah.
then leaving my colleagues to deal with anything that, like, it's the human body. Like, you can do the best possible job, but things fail. Things don't go quite to plan. And do you know what? I think I panicked I'm going to get judged by something that I've done. I'm like, when I went off and like, message me about any patient, I wanted to be in the know. I never really had the proper, I'd rather know. I wanted to know if someone was complaining about something, or it was like always the point. I was the first time.
Relax.
Yeah.
And sort of just embrace it.
Yeah, and enjoy it, which I wonder in that thing I do find hard about dentistry and maternity leave. I feel like you don't get it properly. You don't get a chance to fully unwind, but that might be a personality thing. That might be me.
I don't know, because we both took so little time off as well with both, and that's like the beauty. You can go back and do 2 days a week, but I went back at 4 months both times. You might have been less. Like, it's that sort of, there's pressure on you to get back, definitely.
100%.
Not just financially because you're self-employed, but just from seeing patients, all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't like necessarily know what I think that's a scary thing in our own profession. And it could be like you're reliant on someone. You don't want them to think like, oh, goodness, she's not a decent dentist, like as if this has failed or this is not done to the way I do it. The fishers don't look as good as if I did it. And as much, I do think about it. Like I've only just gone back to work, and I'm like, everyone I speak to, or when I'm walking past the practice, because I live near where I work, it's like, have you had to see any of my patients? And it's just like, it's a weird feeling. It's not a healthy feeling. And it's like, I don't know. I find that bit tough. I actually didn't realize that until I've just spoken about it there now.
Yeah. What was your question? Was it how we juggle it? Yeah.
Yeah, how you juggle it.
No, we went off.
I do not juggle it well.
Go off tangent. It doesn't matter.
It's a very hard juggle, I would say. Like, I mean, you don't even have a husband with a flexible job. My husband's got slightly more flexible job in terms of if the kids are sick, he can kind of make something work. Obviously, in our job, that causes so much stress that basically the days that I work, if the kids are sick, my husband has to deal with it. And if I didn't have that, I mean, Mary, you don't have that. I don't know.
No, I don't. I love my build. I put myself now finally in a building that accommodates that, and I feel comfortable, and they're amazing. And like, if I do have to do that, which has happened rather, I just am like, because I've got those 2 days where I'm not in clinically, I bring Teddy's come in, sat in reception. I'm like, can I help you do an emergency? Or I'm available on a Friday, like I can do this, I can help. And I feel so, I love the building that I'm in working, because I hope they see that. I mean, because they've been amazing to me, but I hope I show that I can pay back a little bit, if you know what I mean, because I get it's a business as well. Like, we're associates, but running a business must be so, so stressful. And yeah, the juggle is real, but you just get a bit more comfortable
Yeah.
dealing with it. And then again, you're like, well, if my kid's sick, like that's the priority, right? There's nothing I can do. And you can, you know, and you,
I guess that's the downside of our job in a way, but patients like kind of should understand that. But I would say that that is the bad side of dentistry, where you tell someone that the dentist isn't coming because their kid is sick, and that's not really.
oh yeah, I had a horrendous case
It's
of
not
that.
safe.
When I had an emergency going into a hospital when I was pregnant, and the person was like, well, I don't care. And I was like, well, that's really, you feel bad, but then you're like, because that's on the poor receptionist that's having to deal with an angry patient. And then at the same time, you're like going through something horrendous on a personal level. And then you're like, gosh, I hate my job. Yeah. And that happened actually quite a lot for me in the, I had to take a fair bit of time off in my pregnancy and just the most recent one. And that's tough because you feel like you're letting people down on all levels. So yeah. And you're like, I wish I could work from home.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Why do you think the public put that pressure on a dentist as opposed to other services that might be provided to them?
I mean, I guess it's hard because we're both private dentists, so I guess there's that element to it. They've decided to go and have private dentistry. And I mean, I guess sometimes they would get annoyed when the doctors do it in hospital, but there's less, it feels like the doctors are further removed or something, and we're more of an easy, and the receptionists and treatment coordinators and stuff are more of an easy target in dental practices, maybe. I don't know. Is it
And I think in London, it's a huge thing because I get people have got their own stresses, right? They've taken time off work to come and see you. They've got the same issues going on in their family life, the same pressures with their work, taking another bit of time out of. I get the other side as well. I think London's it's a rat race. And I think I can see their side of it as well. It's a difficult one. But then you love working in the area of where dentistry is amazing and you're in some of the top practices in London, in the UK, and you're like, well, that's the price you pay. You know what I mean? Like you get to do amazing treatments, work with amazing people, and that there has to be a price to pay, you know? Does it have to be a price? I think so.
Yeah,
I think
no,
that's a
I kind of get
responsibility.
it. That's why that's the juggle when it's stressful. It's just, you know, that you've got people depending on you at work, and then also you now have kids depending on you at home. But it's just, yeah, we sort of make it work.
How do you both deal with that front-facing, stressed patient who's talking to you in the practice? In the hot
I'm
spot?
definitely better since having kids. Like even the other day, someone was kind of shouting. It wasn't, well, and also maybe that's why it's easy to take. It wasn't really about anything to do with me in a way. I was having to kind of deal with it. And it was honestly water off a duck's back. I just kind of listened to him shouting and then just explained like the situation, and it was kind of take it or leave it. This is how it is. And, you know, I'm sorry you've obviously had something that's upset you, but this is where we are and this is how we deal with it. It's harder, I guess, when it's like your work or something directed like personally, more personally at you.
I think you're a nicer person, calmer person than I am. If it's something that's not in our issue and it's a personal thing, gosh, especially as you get older, I'm a bit more passive aggressive about it. You know, it depends on what the situation is. Like, you've got to I don't know. I find that the listening thing, you have to listen, and then there's no point in you're not going to get angry. You're going to empathize because that's our part of our job. But then I'm always like, okay, how do we make it better? Like, let's move on from it. And I'm always trying to get to the solution with them, because I think that then calms them down. Is you're thinking, okay, right, this has happened. Let's try and make it better or improve the situation, or, you know, let's move on from it. And I think it's trying to get them to
and not take it too personally, which I think when you're younger, when I was a younger dentist, it was like, I just would take anything like that home and just, people make you cry, right? It was like, yeah, really tough.
What about if the failure was your fault? How do you deal with that?
hands up. There's no other way. Just put your hands up, and then you'll sleep better at night. If it's our fault, then don't try and lie about it. I mean, that's going to make you feel even worse. And own it. Someone's putting their trust in you. You have to own it. I think that's bad thing in our profession if you don't. Like,
Yeah.
I think they'll respect it more for you. You know, like, are you talking about give them their money back, or yeah, more than happy to. You know, if it's if it's my issue, then you know, apologize and offer them someone else to see. Or I mean, it hopefully doesn't happen that often, but sometimes I think you can feel it if they don't like your, you know, from like a new patient consultation, and straight away it's like a personality thing. I think as we get older, do you think you sort of realize who?
Yeah. You just aren't going to gel that well with, but
Yeah, but then that's not something, I don't know, it's a hard one. But if I've done something wrong, then yeah, I hope I'd stick to that and say that I would put my hands up.
And then what would you tell yourself about that on that evening, say? How would you be feeling about it or coping with it? Managing your own failure?
yeah, you really take it home. If you found something that's not come out as well as you thought it had, or you know, I don't know if you ever take like a bite wing later and
Heartbreaking.
if something's not right, you are gutted yourself. And I'm totally honest, and I would redo something for free
100%.
because you are always trying to do your best, but then sometimes I don't know, something gets in the way. Or I've had before where you've seen someone else's like bad work on something, and then you're like, oh, you know, fix that, do that, no problem. And then you go to do it, and it's the biggest nightmare treatment ever, and you're like, that's why it was done so badly.
I wish people would remember that though, when they have their judgment hat on. And I'm like, constantly think, because there's so many times where I'd be like, gosh, I thought that filling did well. Like, we all take pictures, and then you come back and you're like, oh. And then they come back for their 6 months bite week. So you're like, oh, there's a little void in there. And you're like, oh, like, we're all human. But I'm like, you know, it still works. Like, the bond's still there or whatever. But there's so much judgment in our profession, and it upsets me so much. And
I mean,
I'll never be happy
It
with
makes us better dentists to like care about it. If you didn't care about it, then that's like that's
Time to give up. Yeah.
You know, so caring about it is the good thing. It's just trying not to let it affect your sleep.
and fix it, as you said. It's like, okay, then I think if you say like, how much do you take home? I'd be like, right, I need to fix this, give them their money back, explain to them like, this is it. Like, I've not made this better than what was previously done. Like, here's your money back.
This brings me on to my next question, but you've both kind of answered it. I definitely struggle more being seen to make the mistake than actually making the mistake. I think I'm kinder on myself. But maybe that's because you've seen the clinical scenario yourself.
What do you mean? So like you'd let yourself away with like,
I mean, when we went back to you talking about maternity leave and worried if someone saw your mistake, I'd be more worried about that than me actually making the mistake.
yeah.
Guilty.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I see what you mean.
And that's because of the judgment.
Yeah.
100% agree with you, Fran. I do.
Yeah.
Which is that, so I'm like, gosh, that's not right. Like,
We should all have each other's back. It's tricky.
Yeah.
It's clinically tricky.
There's no need to put, and that goes back to when you think you see some work that's not great and you can improve it, and then you see the reason why it was done that way,
And it's
you
not-
to do it.
and
So it's that whole thing. You shouldn't just jump in and be like, that's bad. You know, you need to just.
and the other thing is that dentists, I think, will say, they're like, oh yeah, but I'm not slagging off the dentist work to the patient, so it's fine. But you've gone to a lunchroom or you've met someone on a course and you're slagging them off to another dentist. I'm like, that's not okay. You know what I mean? There's two levels of it. So it's like, at dental school, you're always taught, well, we were taught you never basically say that someone's done something badly, because
You never know.
you never know the situation. But I think people don't take it to that level of, then they'll just tell each other's colleagues and this sort of thing. And I think that's also,
It's a backstabbing thing, definitely in dentistry.
it's really,
There's a fine line, isn't there? Because if something, well, actually, I don't think it's that fine a line from my experience, but we obviously have a duty to raise awareness if something is done very, very, very wrong. But I don't think that's what the majority of this is about. It's about like tickling each other's egos, or oh, you know him who everyone thinks is really great. Well, I saw this.
Yeah.
It's not very nice.
no, and Instagram's made that even worse.
Instagram's a massive one nowadays, isn't it? Do you think looking back, if you were new graduates with Instagram, the world of dental Instagram there, do you think it would have helped you or hindered you?
No, I like some of it. Like, I think it's great to make you do better. Like,
Push yourself.
to push yourself, put the pictures up and encourages you to take photos, helps you to get a job. Like, I think you start to see where there's positive things about it. But I think but then there's the other side.
Hard on yourself, because at starting out, you can't automatically be at that level of some of these really good dentists.
No, but you can watch it. You can see
watch
it and
you
get
can use it as
tips.
a positive learning tool for sure. But it would also be, I guess, stress. Imagine you were just starting out and you were seeing all of that. And
I'm actually embarrassed I
you
don't
just
want
wouldn't have any idea how to kind of achieve that, I think.
Yeah.
So I think there's real positives, but I'm sure it causes a lot of
stress. Yeah, definitely.
Going back to dental school, that's where you two met, isn't it?
We did.
Do you want to tell us the story? Because I think you two are such a lovely example of dental friendship.
So I was walking into dental school on the first day of university medical building, and it was like
Newcastle Dental School.
Newcastle, yeah. There was a camera crew filming like an interview with a student, and Mary jumped in and said, "Hi, Mom." And I was like, that girl's crazy. And then went into the lecture and she was beside me, and I was like, oh, you're on my course.
Yeah, not the finest
When
moment.
I look back.
No.
But it's because you always wanted to be famous. So she was like, that's my way to game.
Not sure.
Let's hope this goes viral.
I don't know. Well, yeah, it was a good time. So first day of dental school, and we had a lot of fun. I loved Newcastle. It was great.
Yeah.
How many years ago is that now, girls?
2010 we graduated. So 20
years ago we started.
So 2005.
Yeah, 20 years when we started.
I don't like this conversation.
We're too old.
You're 21 this year. You should celebrate. You should go on a mum's
We didn't get
away.
invited to the 10-year reunion. Do you remember?
You did me, I don't.
No. But do you know what? You know when you go on courses and then, do you remember when we met you and Stu, Fran? And then you asked like one of the common questions, if you haven't met them before, is when did you graduate? And then you're like, oh gosh.
Oh, yeah, we're getting so old.
Yeah. And gosh, that dentist is so much better than me.
And they're younger.
Yeah.
That is stressful.
Like Stewie. I'm like, Stewie, no, you're so good. And you weren't, Stewie was not even at dental school at the same time as us, we worked out. But that's an example. And gosh,
Stewie, for the listeners, is Mr. Stuart Beggs.
Shout out.
Dr. Stuart.
Dr. Stuart Beggs.
Yeah. So that was a long time ago.
I do love the courses though. It's always quite fun, isn't it? Do you like this? You've done your own one, so.
I did. The social, I think, after a course is actually sometimes where you learn the most.
Yeah.
And where you get the most
Out of it in a way.
out of it in a way. I shouldn't say that having taught one, but I do think there's a limit to how much you can absorb on a day like that.
Yeah.
Me and Stuart used to always say you end up drinking 20 cups of coffee, you absorb a bit, but really it's like the group chat after, or you're chatting about a case at lunchtime or on the social after, where you're actually like,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, and you wonder how many takeaways you get from it, don't you, when you come out of it? But you often get a tip, like even something like an accountant that someone uses, like it's quite helpful, especially if you're not in a building. I think I found it quite useful before I was in a building where there were lots of dentists that were or specialists, you know what I mean, that will help, like in a smaller practice, like when you're in VT and we were in Brighton, and then you're in those practices, and then we're in Australia, and then and it becomes quite isolated in those. So your course is quite helpful to get like other tips, because you're not bouncing off. You don't do as well. I wasn't talking about as many cases when I was in these smaller practices. So the courses is actually really helpful on that level of development. But then I don't know about you guys, but then I was like, I am coursed out.
100%.
And I've done too many. I'm now back in the place where I'm like, I should probably pop on a few more now.
Yeah.
I've read it.
I've read it.
You know, but it is interesting. But the fun bit is the aftermath.
I actually had a couple of years ago now, where I called it my brat year, and I didn't do one course because I'd done that much. Oh, there you go. That was your brat year, Annie.
I mean, I did like BLF.
You do have babies.
That's my love. That's like,
but
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a mandatory one. That doesn't count.
yeah.
At least you did your mandatory one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did one last year.
Yeah, no, I did a really good one last year.
There are so many courses.
I was forced out the year before. I think I was going to start. There are so many courses. They're quite expensive as well.
Yeah.
But I do think there's such good value in them. Sorry, I don't actually want that. I think there's such...
Yeah.
They're amazing. Meeting people, for anyone that's younger or trying to get another job, I think it's amazing. I think they're great, and I would encourage them. I'd say definitely do as many as you can at the start. You've got all the energy, you'll meet people, you'll get a job. I loved my Eastman implant course, then led to a different job, and yeah, I think it's good.
Why do you think you're both still friends?
Because Annie's a nice person, very tolerant.
No, Mary's best heart.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
No, we just know each other so well. So even with our new business, it's sort of like we just know how each other. We sort of complement. We've got different abilities and like
Different personality types that work for different things. I think that's become even more obvious with little brushies.
And we both have said so many times we couldn't do it. Like there's no way we would not have got here if we'd been doing it.
I don't think I could do it a month into it without doing it. It's like, you're dealing with so many different, like from the engineers to then to going to China, dealing with different things to then someone developing your website to, it's so many different personality types, so many things going on at once that you need. Yeah, there's no way I could have done it without, or wanted to do it without you. It's so much more fun, even the failures. You can laugh about them. I mean, you need to laugh about them. And it's something that is like, dentistry connects you, right? Like, my husband is not interested. Yeah.
Weird.
It is weird to say. I get why they marry each other.
Yeah, because there's this automatic underlying understanding, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I really do think that. So
yeah, the end of one of those days, and we all know what that means, where you got there at 8, you didn't look up till 5:30.
Yeah.
And you get home and you just want to lie down in a dark room.
Yeah.
If someone's not a dentist at home, I don't know how they'd comprehend that feeling.
No, same. And also, I'd say, I'm worried about this. And Baggers would be like, why are you worrying about that? And I'd be like, I'd phone you, and I'd be like, and you'd be like,
so, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
I dropped the iTerra.
I couldn't believe she dropped the iTerra. I mean, I was like, yeah, you
iTerra. Don't ever do that.
And it wasn't yours.
It was my boss's.
But that I was like, you have. But then with a patient scenario or something, it's so good to be like, you know what? You'll have said, if I've worried about something, you'll be like, don't worry, I've done this. Like, it's fine. Just do this, or it's helpful feedback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you bounce off each other with that.
It's such an isolating profession though, isn't it? You're on your own, especially in London. Some of the rooms you're in, it's like being in a cupboard under the stairs or something.
Yes.
With your nurse who, we know there's amazing nurses, but you might not even get on with your nurse. Stressful day.
No light.
Often
in a basement.
Yeah, no natural light.
Yeah, I think
or no lunch, and you know, sat down all day. If you don't have that network to pick up the phone and talk to someone, or be lucky enough to work in a practice where there's someone to talk to at lunch over something, that's tough.
I think it is tough.
Yeah.
I think it's hard. I think we should all give each other a bit more credit and support, but not pretend support. Real support.
Real support. Yeah, definitely. So it makes me laugh because you said you'd cut down on clinical days, but now you've taken on a completely new venture and gone across continents to develop it. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Little Brushies?
So this little Brushi Bear came about after our first spawns. It would have been after one of those conversations of being like, oh, this is bothering me, clinical. I don't know about you, Annie. I was in a moany stage about work, about getting tired about it, finding it hard work, not quite as happy as I am now.
Yeah. But it was definitely, I remember the light bulb was
this is fun.
you phoned me, or we were on the phone about Teddy using your Oral-B.
Just a bit of perspective. I had mine after. Okay, but anyway, I used to phone Annie because I was like, can you listen to this cry? I was like, what do you think he needs? Like, to be like, do I need? Annie was like my doula. I'd be like, and she was like, no, I think that's all right, that's fine. So I was literally on the phone constantly
or something, but it was I was like, right, no, that means that.
And it was when Teddy was then teething.
And then Teddy was teething. You were
he's a bit younger
just
than
keep
Theo.
taking my electric toothbrush. And I was like, oh my goodness, so does Theo. I just give it to him. He loves it. It's the only way he can brush his teeth. You said the exact same thing. And we just sort of, I remember it was like, if only there was one like actually for their age.
Yeah. That soothes these teething pains. Because obviously you get gifted so many teethers.
Yeah. But I mean, mine were never attached. I don't know.
No.
I mean, they help at points, but yeah, it was like the brush helped the teething, but then they loved the brush. So they just got them into this really good habit. And it was kind of like, wow, if we
Let's do something. And then you're like,
then it's,
you want it to look nice, less plastic.
it was having like, it's so bizarre if you haven't had the baby, but you would never think, but basically when you get given baby stuff or you go to buy baby stuff, you really, I don't know, we really liked things looking nice, which sounds so strange. It should be the last thing you're really worried about, but we did. You like things fitting in with your home, nicer materials, if you can be kinder to the planet.
You're trying, and I think lots of us are trying to be kinder to the planet with everything that we do.
So we wanted it to like kind of look nice, but be really good dentally.
And then it developed after that. Like we were talking about it, thinking how we could do. Then we were like, let's do the double-sided head. Because as they grew, it's like based on Teddy and Theo's like journey. Because then they become toddlers. And then you're like, oh, yeah, lots of patients like, how do I get my toddler to brush their teeth? And then they're biting on the brush. So then the double-sided head came. And then we're like,
oh, and then them learning. So like Theo learned, everything, like how to speak, how to like dance, all of it through nursery rhymes, animals, like all of that. And so I was like, there isn't really like a good nursery rhyme of brushing that I could find. So then we had my friend come up with the song that plays from the brush.
That helps you to get to the recommended 2 minutes, because it is a nightmare getting them to brush for 2 minutes. And
as we know, you would always have the guilt because you're like the dentist, so like your kids should be brushing for 2 minutes, but like it is really hard, and it just kind of helps with that.
Yeah.
And so all of it was just from stuff literally that the kids experienced that we
and we both treat lots of families and children, so we're like, how do we get it better based on what people are saying they're struggling with? And then you've got your own child, you're going through it yourself, so it became developed with that. And then and it's been fun. Like
I think after the
sleepless nights,
like, whoa, now we have a lot on our plate.
Averaging on 3 hours sleep a night. Both Tiggy came when we were doing something really serious with the pattern, and Annie literally had her C-section, and I was like, I need you to tell me what you think about this. And then Ottie comes, just about we're about to look.
That I feel like that's been the most work, but
but we do it together, and it's fun, and it's amazing space. And
I bet it's been nice to do something non-clinical but related.
It's so refreshing.
It's like, I mean,
life-changing.
It is life-changing, and I love that it's still dental related, because I feel like we do like our jobs, like we love our jobs, but you're still in the same space. You're still but it's different. It's not clinical.
What do you love about our jobs? What do you love about it?
People. I love chatting to people.
Yeah.
Chatting probably too much. I run late. I keep talking. I find people interesting. You get all different types of patients, and I love that. I then
quite like the I quite like fixing mechanicals, kind of fixing side of it.
The arty side, your arty.
I love my
I'm like thinking, like, I actually love extractions. I like when someone's in there.
Surgery.
I do. I like that you can take someone out of pain. They're like, and they're really grateful, even though they're going to have a load of swelling or not. But you know what I mean? I like feeling like you've helped. And I like their feeling, like in aesthetic changes for people, like the cosmetic side's amazing. You can change someone's life, and
Yeah.
I think it makes us sound like we really love it.
It's just
So
really,
both
really
do.
stressful, but we do like it. Yeah.
What were you like before dentistry growing up? Would you have thought you were going to be a dentist?
No, wild.
Why?
Friends to be kicked out of
child.
dental school multiple times. Pushed to do a vocational degree. Everyone was shocked I even got into dental school and made it through dental school. But I think that I'm honest, and anyone that knows me would probably say the exact same thing.
Yeah, I failed first year, so I'm with you.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Lols, I didn't.
I did.
Too much beating.
A little bit of that. I think I was absolutely shattered from... I still don't think I worked as hard for anything as I did my A-levels.
Did you?
And I didn't have a gap year or anything. I just went straight into it. I had septic tonsillitis in Freshers Week.
But gap years
just
weren't
pushed it.
encouraged. Did you not think you'd be like, oh, you might not get into dental school if you took a gap year? Or was that just my skill?
It just was never on my agenda. It's
Yes.
like, I've got my A's, I've got into dental school, I'm going.
I think
Next
I was 17 when I went to dental school.
Oh yeah, that's
I broke my arm.
18,
I broke my arm on my 18th birthday. Yeah. So I was so young to be going and doing this. So I needed to grow up a little bit. And
Yeah, I still think I was a baby. I was a baby looking back. I was juggling. I worked when I was at uni. I worked in Tesco a lot. I had to. I felt like I'd gone from top of the class thriving to like bottom struggling quick. But I also loved to party.
Yeah, I reckon that was a lot of partying.
I think in school though, you're like in the top sector, right? When you go to dental school, and then you quickly realise you're
There's a lot
not
of
smart.
clever
Yeah, there's a lot of clever people. And also you had past papers when you were at school, so you didn't have to properly revise, right? You just knew how to do the exams. In dental school, there was no past papers kicking around, or else we didn't get them.
Little old me on one of the first...
You know that
Well, why didn't we
1
get
year older than us.
Did they?
What? The first week I went to...
Why did we get them?
Two tutors I went to and asked for the curriculum by bullet points. You know, I was thinking similar to A-level biology, I'll nail each bullet point. I'll make sure I understand it. He just looked at me. He's like, it doesn't work like that anymore. It's like, how am I going to learn?
At least you cared enough to do that. I got pulled in.
You had to learn everything, isn't that right? 'Cause
Yeah.
You didn't know you had to literally learn everything, and there was so much.
I remember the boys, I have a close group of boys from my year at dental school saying to me, like, you're going to have to learn dental materials at some point, Fran. It's going to come up. And every year I risked it and it never did until about fourth year. And now look at me.
And you were so good at it.
Obsessed with materials. I was like, open the book, just no, not for me.
We had a really good friend
So dry.
who really fancied the person teaching us pharmacology. Do you remember the energies? So he just focused his learning energy. Do you remember that? On that, and it didn't come up. Like dental materials, you knew would probably come up at some point.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Did you get called in, did you say?
Yeah. Do you remember I got called in and they said, "Do you have enough money?
check.
A welfare check? Are you okay?"
Was she lit?
How I look, I'd probably not slept that night, gone in, and then they enrolled me, because you go home for the summer, and enrolled me in St Andrew's Library so that I had somewhere to go to learn at home.
Oh,
And
It's because her hair hadn't been brushed for about 2 months at the time. That's what.
George would probably say, I wish you'd brush your hair a bit more going to work now. But I think it was, it's like, it was, I think I was so young. I just think I wasn't into, one thing I'd say that's quite similar about you and I is we got into dentistry later on. Like dental school we did. I followed Annie down for VT because I couldn't get any VT job. Poor Annie had to deal with me in Brighton. I got run over really quite badly, and then had to...
During VT?
Yeah, was on crutches for 5 months. So then had to spend a fair bit of time there living with Annie and my VT trainer. Then you and poor Annie, there's a common theme here, decided to go to Australia. A lot of people say she tried to get away from me and someone else. And we were like, we're going as well. And then Singapore, and then all this other stuff. And then after, I think like, then we were like, actually, we
kind of when we came back, we were like, okay, we really like this.
we really like this.
Yeah.
And then I went and signed up to the Eastman, and
Yeah.
I'd say that then really got into it. But I don't regret any of that other stuff.
Me
You know what I
neither.
mean?
Me neither.
Were you the same? Interesting.
100%. No one in my year would have predicted I'd be any good. No way.
Yeah, that's
I clinically and restorative in final year on the graduation ball, I got the restorative prize, but it was one lady who loved me, and apparently she pushed for it. But I didn't know I was any good. I always thought I was,
But
you know, I
it's quite good to
I
get
stayed
that.
through, but clinically, I think I always enjoyed that bit.
okay.
But on the exams, no.
I mean, nothing for us. Sorry.
Yeah,
don't-
we weren't-
I
we
mean,
were-
but that's true. Like, there was nothing.
And then I got geekier and geekier with
Same.
it.
Yeah. But I think that's part of growing up.
Yeah.
And being really, and then into it, and, you know, didn't
Everyone
burn
has
out.
time. Has
Yeah.
time. Like that time for me in dental school was loving it. Loving uni, sorry, not dental school. I loved uni.
Imagine being a dentist and not enjoying what you do.
Yeah.
Like I am.
I don't know how they do it.
I mean, that's why it's such high like suicide rates and stuff, isn't it? If you didn't actually enjoy what you were doing, and then you had all the stresses of it, it would be impossible.
Is it still a high suicide rate?
Yeah.
That's really tough.
Apart from being distracted when you get home with your lovely little ones and your lovely partners, how else do you look after yourself after one of those crazy days?
I've been trying to do various classes, not very often, but I've been trying to do.
Barry's boot camp.
Yeah.
After a stressful day, you want to go down there?
No, it's more stress, but it is exercise. I think
Yeah.
exercise is definitely like go for a run, do burpee or something like that. It just definitely, but I never have time really. But if I do think that's amazing for you. Otherwise, it's bath and bed really early.
I think I need to work on the other side.
I mean, we're doing a lot of work on the business, like after work and stuff like that. So it is hard at the minute.
Yeah. I think you kind of like want to spend time with your children, because you're like, you don't get the whole time with them. So a lot of you get that mum guilt, right? So it's nice to then just be with them. And I do think like my time will come back again when they're a little bit older, and I'm fine with that. You know, I like to go on holiday. I actually say that's what probably I really do.
You do feel like that.
Yeah, I do holidays and with the family and extended family as well. And I think that I live for those. I love them. And then, yeah, I think the time, I'm okay with the time will come back with.
Oh yeah.
It's quite funny because I don't mind, because I love doing little brushes. We'll be on a call at 8 p.m. till 1 a.m. sometimes.
Really?
But I get excited. I mean, that is out.
After work.
Yeah, you put the kids to bed, you play with them, you feed them, bed, and then you're like eating whilst doing it. And you're
I'm amazed either of you have brushed your hair.
we made a special effort for you. But it's fun. I'm going on to chat to my best mate and have a good laugh about these other bits. And then we talk about things, and we work with amazing people. And I love it. So it's almost like a bit of a social sometimes going on. I never dread going to do that other bit. Do you ever get Sunday night dread? Do you guys get that thing?
No, but I think with dentistry, sometimes you'll have like either a patient or some sort of treatment or something that you do dread, that you are like, oh,
Yeah.
you know.
We all have those names on a list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting it tomorrow.
You know, someone once said to me, never look at the list before.
People have
You
said
like
that
to be
to me.
organised. You like to be
I need to know. I need to know. I can't. I take a picture of the day list just for the next day, so I anticipate whether I need an earlier night or like maybe I'm just used to it.
I'm a bit
It's a
like
control freak thing, isn't it?
I'm definitely a bit like that.
I wish I was a bit more loose in that respect.
I think that's a lot of dentists, I think.
Yeah,
Not that bad.
type A personalities. Do you think you're both type A?
What's type A? The bad one.
Disciplined, up early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly.
It's a dentistry discipline.
Maybe we'll all become type B when we retire. Has there ever been a time when you thought you might step away from it? Not really.
Yeah, when I thought I'd married a rich banker, but then I realised that wasn't the case.
There's still hope for me.
No, I don't know. There must have been a time. There must have been a time where I wanted. I think maybe when I found it really stressful when you weren't good. I'm not saying I'm good now. I'm not saying that, sorry, but more like,
It's harder. I don't really.
you know, like, yeah, well, you know, like if you felt like you weren't sure how long something was going to last, or you were worried about everything, or them calling back to say you fitted an onlay and then they get sensitivity. I think that time I found really stressful. And I think it's when I came back trying to realize that I want to get into this, do extra courses. And I realized, oh, gosh, I don't know that much. And you're trying to make yourself better. You really care, but it takes time, right? And yeah, and be in the same building that you've been in to see your failures and stuff like that. I reckon then I probably was like, oh.
I had one really. It wasn't even a complaint, but it could have been, and it was something that was out of my control. But it was, I've told you about it. It was the most stressful thing, and it did make me think like, wow, like I didn't want to quit, but the sometimes I think the level of stress you can get to is almost not worth it. So I definitely had that where I was like, whoa, is this worth doing? Like, what am I getting out of this really when it can be this stressful?
I don't know about you two, but when I remember coming out of dental school in the first couple of years and it being almost like hanging over you, like you're going to get sued, you're going to get sued,
Yeah,
you're
well,
going to get
that's it.
sued.
Yeah.
And then the longer I've not been sued,
Yeah.
it's like you've got a bank of evidence that tells your logical brain.
So-
You're,
Yeah.
if
well,
you do, but you, I don't know. It's,
you never know. As well.
you never know. You never know.
Say that, but I know exactly what you mean. I totally agree.
But I think
It's a fear.
yeah, there's definitely that fear that
And
people
that
say,
fear,
yeah.
sometimes you weigh it up and you think, is this fear of this getting sued worth doing this career? I think that is it a lot of the time.
I don't think, if I'm honest with myself, like we want little brushies to take off, like, but we always still want to be dentists. Like, but I think I'd be happy with 2 days a week. You know what I mean? I think the less clinical
The better you are at it. And
the more I enjoy it. And if you can do it on a financial level and make it work, if you've got another sideline, I think that makes me less worried about everything else of pursuing things. You know what I mean?
If you won the lottery, do you think you still do a bit of dentistry?
like weirdly, yes, I think.
I know, me too.
Is that weird? I think I would.
I wouldn't. Would you?
I weirdly think I would. Like, very little. I'd probably.
I'd go off and live the dream.
Would you?
Yeah. See you later. Teeth by Mary.
We'd see Golf by Mary.
Yes.
A new page.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be
that would
playing
be
golf,
better.
tennis. Yeah. No way. No.
Okay, and then final thing, we're going to round it up, girls. What do you wish, or what advice do you wish you were given if you went right back to graduation day? Well, maybe you had great advice at the time.
Like mostly I'm kind of happy with my dental like journey, other than what I was saying to you earlier, which is I really want to do an MSc in restorative, and I've been wanting to do it since I qualified, and actually when is a good time, and I wish I'd just found a way to do it when I'm younger, because I think it gets actually harder, and although when you're a young dentist it's very hard to afford it, find a way like you did. Yeah, that's for me, that's a personal thing for me that I think from a career, yeah.
I think about more. I'd hope like that I'd get into the right practice, not just think I had to go into one because I thought it was like the glitzy practice that's winning the awards. I'd think more about the ethos of the practice,
Yeah,
like who's in the building. I think I wouldn't. I don't know who gives your advice.
Like care about you, like
Yeah.
are you just a number making numbers, or do they actually like?
I think I'd think about more the kind of practice I worked in earlier on, if that makes sense. Because I think if you're in a good practice, you thrive, you learn more from each other, you're happier, you'll be a better clinician. And I think I would say to any younger graduate, just slow down, think about it, do as many courses as you can whilst you can. Don't think about earning money, just spend that money on the courses, because ultimately that will get you better. Be critical of yourself, take the pictures, and then pick the right job. Will then, but just think about more the building, not the showy side of it. Yeah, the ethos of the people in there.
I don't think the younger ones realise how skint you are in those first few years.
Yeah. It is wild.
It's
The
like-
thought of paying for an MSc or something like that, you're just like, there's no way I could afford this. And now I realise that like there's probably not a good time to ever really
I
afford
remember
that
taking
stuff.
out a huge bank loan for my first year. And looking back, it was the most foolish thing at the time financially. I moved to London. Luckily, I lived with my auntie. And I remember going to the first practice I worked in Ealing. And for the first week, I think I was earning 30 or 40 pounds a day. And I was spending a tenner on travel and coffee. I was like, how is this ever going to pay off? And it's almost like you're in a funny bubble in your, thank God I was 20 something, just like, it'll work out. It's got to.
I know, but it's scary. But I remember coming back to London and thinking, like, after Australia and Singapore, and thinking, right, I just want to work in, I lived in Fulham, I want to work in a private practice in Fulham. And I remember like seeing like one patient every like 2 to 3 days at points. And I was like flyering, putting these, just made my own flyers, put them in a letterbox, and was just like, if you can, like, just wait and build, like, it takes time to build a list and get a recommendation. But if you stick yourself in the right building where that your boss is getting you good materials and you're going to do a good job, I think there's another side of being patient and not.
Yeah.
It's a trick.
Don't be money orientated, basically.
Don't be money more orientated, but don't be scared of leaving the wrong one.
Yeah.
There's no point staying there.
I know, but that's so hard.
That's really
It is really hard.
It's
hard.
It's such a small world.
It is. I've walked out of places before. Yeah. Yeah, like went really in early with a little suitcase, took all my stuff and I'd gone. That's another story for a different podcast. But some places just are not right.
But that's good that you realise that.
I mean, there was all sorts going on in that one, but I think sometimes people are scared that it's almost the positive side of being self-employed is that there's two sides of that contract. And if it's not working for you or something's not being adhered to that way, you've also got that clause. Yeah. Sometimes I think especially when you're younger, you feel tied and you can't get out, but you can. A bit brave though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So do courses early is your advice, and be patient. Build up that list. And
Yes, the courses will lead you to a good practice in a way.
Yeah. Be a good person. You know, I think that's one of the biggest things. Like, be kind to the people you work with.
Yeah.
Nurses, managers, receptions, like everyone's going through their own stuff. Like, just be, you know, it's just, don't be so like tunnel vision. Like, it's all you, like, just be a good person and live by that. You know what I mean? Like, help people. And I think, and it makes you happier in the environment you're in as well. Like, I think
it's a long profession.
Yeah.
And it is a small world.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, people talk. They talk about the ones that aren't kind as well.
Yeah.
Behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, girls. I think we'll leave it there.
Thank you for having us.